Hi everybody, this is video number 2, how prices are determined. In the market economy, prices are determined by the interaction of both the consumer and the producer. That is a test question, so you might want to kind of file that into things you need to remember, that the interaction is both the consumer and the producer. As the price for an item increases, the supply that the producers are willing to sell increases. However, as the price rises, the number of items that consumers are willing to buy, the demand decreases. You can see how both of these laws interact in graph 3. And over here in this graph, I'm showing you I put over here that equilibrium is kind of like the meeting of the minds between the consumers and the producers, because the consumer says on the demand curve, or actually this is the demand curve right here, and this is the supply curve. The consumer says, this is all I'm going to pay for this. The producer says, this is what I'm going to sell this for. And as you can see, they will raise prices and lower prices until they come to almost like a meeting of the minds right here. And you can see right here, I believe that is $1 and $1.50. So this would be $1.25. And you come down the graph or the mark there, and between $1.50 and $2 is $1.75, or $175 for the quantity. So they would be willing to make 175 yogurts at the price of $1.25. So that's kind of that supply and demand curve there. Now we're going to talk about equilibrium price. At what price are suppliers willing to sell the same number of cups of frozen yogurt that consumers are willing to buy? The price at which the quantity demanded by the consumer equals the quantity supplied by the suppliers is known as the equilibrium price. This is where the two curves intersect. And there again, that's what I'm showing you here, and the equilibrium price, the meeting of the minds, so to speak. This is the price that producers usually end up selling their goods in a market economy. If the price of a good is higher than the equilibrium price, the supply of the good will be greater than the quantity of the good's demand. Some of these supplies will remain unsold. Producers will not be paid for those items they cannot sell. This puts pressure on the producers to lower their price. And just going back up here, that was actually highlighted, and I don't know, I'm using Cami today, so let's see if we can kind of underline where this definition was. You can hardly see the yellow that was there to indicate that that was the definition, the equilibrium price. Where I think at this bullet right here, if the price of the good is lower than the equilibrium price, then the demand for that good will be greater than the supply available, and the supplies will quickly sell out. Producers will start to raise their prices and still sell all the supplies they have available. They will continue to raise their prices until they reach the equilibrium price. Once the equilibrium price is reached, the product will continue to be sold at that price until some additional factor causes a change, such as an invention of a new product. The equilibrium price might also change if there is a change in the cost of the inputs. And remember, your inputs are your human resources, natural resources, and capital. The only thing there again missing is entrepreneur. The entrepreneur brings those factors of production together, needed to make the product. Such changes affect the supply that the producers are willing to make available at different prices. The role of competition. The role of competition. They give you a little graph over here with the price dropping down, the more competition. The price going up, the lower the price. Competition plays an important role in the market economy. For most goods and services, there are several producers. And you guys can see that on Amazon. If you go to buy a product, you will see that there are several producers for that one product, and you have to choose which producer you would like to purchase it from. I usually go by price unless it's a refurbished type thing or something like that. Then I go for the quality of something a little bit better. Or if it's been used somewhere else and it's for sale again on Amazon, I will opt always for the new product. If the price of the good goes up, even more companies will jump into to produce the good and earn a profit. If the supply becomes greater than the demand for the good, producers will compete with one another to sell off their existing supply. This encourages them to lower their prices to attract more customers. Producers who are unable to sell their goods because their prices are too high will lose money. If the business continues to lose money for too long, it will eventually be forced to go out of business or close down. And then you have an example down here with James Toys, makes wooden yo-yos. Suppose there is a shortage of the wood a company uses to make its yo-yos, causing the price of wood would go much higher. What would happen to the prices of the yo-yo? Well, they would go up. Why? Prices will go up because the supply of wood has become more expensive. Another company has invented a plastic yo-yo that glows in the dark. It charges half the price that James Toys charges for its yo-yos. What effect will this have on James Toys yo-yo prices? Prices of the yo-yos at James Toys would go down. Now, the problem is if you go with the first scenario up here where the wood price is going up, but now this new invention's come out that glows in the dark and it's plastic and it's cheaper. Yes, James Toys would have to lower the price of their yo-yos, but they're paying more for the supply to make them. So they might eventually either have to discontinue the yo-yos, or if they continue to sell them, it could hurt their business as making a profit. That is the last page of our chapter 16, how supply and demand influences prices. Our next chapter is going to be chapter 17, and that is comparing goods. It's chapter is actually called Comparing the Price and Quality of Goods. And that one is a really important chapter because between this chapter 16 and chapter 17, you will use these things every day in your life because it has to do with the things that you buy, the things that you sell, and how the demand will make prices go up or go down. So these two chapters are really valuable to you in the future. So I hope that you will really take these two chapters to heart. So that would be the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again in video 17.